Jake Morrison sat in the waiting area of the Galactic Medical Station, trying very hard not to sneeze on anything that looked expensive, which honestly was everything. The walls were some kind of glowing crystal that probably cost more than his entire apartment back on Earth. And the chairs seemed to be made of solidified light, or maybe just really pretentious plastic, hard to tell with alien tech. He'd been on the station for 3 weeks as part of the Human Ambassador program, which was a fancy way of saying he was a glorified tour guide for aliens who wanted to meet a real-life human without traveling all the way to Earth. The pay was decent, the food was weird, and he'd only accidentally offended 2 species so far. Not bad, all things considered. Then he'd caught a cold. Just a regular, run-of-the-mill stuffy nose, scratchy throat cold, the kind that made you miserable for a few days and then disappeared like it remembered it had better things to do back home. He would have loaded up on vitamin C, binged some shows, and waited it out. But his alien liaison, a very concerned, six-legged music creature named Pip, had taken one look at his red nose and practically shoved him into the medical bay. Patient Morrison, Jake Human, here for examination, announced the receptionist, a floating orb that somehow managed to sound bored despite having no mouth. Jake stood and followed the guide lights to examination room 7. The door swooshed open with that satisfying sci-fi sound that never got old. Dr. Velkara was waiting inside, all 4 arms folded across her thorax in what Jake Music had learned was the Centauri equivalent of standing professionally. She had iridescent blue skin that shifted colors slightly depending on the angle, and her multifaceted eyes gave her a perpetually surprised music expression. Please sit, she gestured to the examination platform with 2 of her hands, while the other 2 were already pulling up holographic displays. Jake hopped up onto the platform. Look, I know Pip was worried, but it's really just a cold, minor respiratory thing. I'll be fine in a couple days. Humans do not have automatic regenerative protocols like most species, Dr. Velkara said, running a scanner over him. The device beeped pleasantly. We must be thorough. Your species is still quite new to the galactic community. Better safe than. She stopped mid-sentence. Her skin flashed bright orange. That seemed bad. Is orange a good color? Jake asked. Dr. Velkara didn't answer. She was staring at her display, all 4 hands frozen in place. Then she started moving very quickly, pulling up more screens, running more scans, her skin flickering between orange and a deep purple that Jake was pretty sure meant to stress. Okay, you're starting to freak me out a little, Jake said. Do not move, Dr. Velkara said, her voice tight. How long have you been experiencing this? Experiencing music? What the? Sniffles. Like 2 days. 2 days. Her skin went full purple. And you waited this long to seek medical attention? I mean, yeah, it's just a cold. Dr. Velkara slapped a button on the wall with one hand while the others continued music, frantically scanning. Medical emergency, examination room 7. I need Dr. Thorne immediately. Possible catastrophic autoimmune cascade. Inhuman patient. Wait, what? Jake sat up straighter. Catastrophic, it's a cold. Your body, Dr. Velkara Music said, pulling up a holographic image of what Jake assumed was his internal biology, is attacking itself. Look right there. Your cellular defenders are actively destroying your own tissue, and here it's happening everywhere. Jake looked at the display. It was pretty cool actually, watching all those little dots zooming around. Oh, those are my white blood cells. Yeah, they're supposed to do that. Dr. Velcara's skin flashed white. Music which Jake had never seen before and suspected might be the Zentari version of complete system failure. The door burst open, music with considerably less satisfying swoosh and more of an emergency override screech. Dr. Thorne rushed in. And GT, music. And GT, which was impressive considering he was built like a refrigerator with tentacles. He was a Kroban, all gray, rocky skin and crystalline eyes that rotated independently like a chameleon's. What's the situation? He rumbled. And GT, music. And GT, his voice like gravel in a cement mixer. Look at this, Dr. Velcara gestured frantically at the holographic display. The human's immune cells are engaging in active warfare, music. They're hunting down and destroying foreign entities with extreme prejudice. Dr. Thorne leaned in, his eye crystals rotating music, to focus on different parts of the display. His skin, normally a calm gray, started developing music stress cracks that glowed faintly red. By the stars, I've never seen anything like this. The aggression level is off the charts. I know, Dr. Velcara said, music, her voice climbing an octave. Guys, Jake interjected, I really think there's been a misunderstanding. Look here, Dr. Thorne pointed with a tentacle. This cell just engulfed that pathogen and is actively breaking it down with chemical weapons inside his own body. And the temperature. Dr. Velcara pulled up another screen. He's running 15 degrees above his baseline. His body is overheating itself. Fever, Jake said. It's called a fever. It's normal, Doctor. Thorne turned to stare at him. You're telling me your body deliberately raises its own temperature to dangerous levels? Well, not dangerous levels, just uncomfortable levels. It helps kill the infection faster. Both doctors stared at him. Dr. Velcara's skin had gone a pale lavender that Jake was pretty confident meant existential music crisis. You're cooking yourself, she said slowly. On purpose? I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds bad. Dr. Thorne was scanning through music data with 3 tentacles at once. According to this, your white blood cell count has increased by blood 40% in 2 days. That's a massive mobilization of forces. Yeah, that's what they do when there's an infection, Jake said. They multiply music to fight it off. Fight, Dr. Velcara repeated. You keep using combat terminology because that's kind of what it is. My immune system identifies the bad stuff, music, and kills it. Pretty straightforward, Dr. Thorne's stress cracks glowed brighter. Most species' immune systems work through diplomatic music cellular negotiation. The immune cells identify foreign pathogens and politely escort them to excretion pathways. There's a standard galactic protocol. Jake blinked. Your immune system negotiates with diseases. Of course, Dr. Velcara said. It's the civilized approach. The pathogen is identified, tagged, and removed. Music through proper channels. No violence necessary. Jake said. My white blood cells just straight up murder Anything that doesn't belong, like hunt it down, rip it apart, and leave the pieces for other cells to clean up. Dr. Thorne made a sound like rocks grinding together. That's barbaric. That's Tuesday, Jake shrugged. Hey, any chance I could get some orange juice? I'm really thirsty. He wants to consume citric acid while his body destroys itself. Dr. Velcara whispered. He's delirious. I'm not delirious, I just have a cold. Look at this. Dr. Thorne pulled up another scan. His mucous membranes are producing excessive fluids to flush out the pathogens, but the fluid production is so aggressive it's causing tissue inflammation. That's not, Jake said helpfully, and yeah, it's annoying, but it works. Inflammation, Dr. Velcara was reading from her data pad. Controlled tissue damage to create hostile environment for pathogens. Side effects include pain, swelling, redness, and loss of function. She looked up at Jake, horrified. Your body damages itself to inconvenience the invaders. When you say it like that, how else should I say it? Dr. Velcara's voice was getting a shrill. Your immune system strategy is apparently scorched earth policy. Jake opened his mouth, closed it. Thought about it. Okay, that's actually pretty accurate. Dr. Thorne slumped against the examination table. We need to contact the xenobiology department. This changes everything we thought we knew about music, human physiology. Can we contact them after I get some juice? Jake asked, and maybe some tissues? I really need to blow my nose. Both doctors looked at him like he just suggested lighting the medical bay on fire. You want to expel the battlefield debris, Dr. Thorne said flatly. Sure, if that makes you feel better about it. Dr. Velcara lowered herself into a chair, all four arms hanging limply at her sides. Her skin had settled into a dull gray that Jake was beginning music to suspect meant the Zentari equivalent of a mental breakdown. Okay, she said quietly. Explain it to me from the beginning. How does human immunity work? Jake shifted on the examination platform. Are you sure? You both look like you need a minute. Music, explain. Dr. Thorne rumbled. Before I have a stress-induced crystallization event. All right, Jake cleared his throat, which made both doctors flinch. So, when a pathogen enters the human body, specialized cells called white blood cells detect it. These cells then activate and begin hunting down the invader. Hunting, Dr. Velcara repeated weakly. Yeah, some white blood cells literally chase the pathogens through the bloodstream and eat them. We call them phagocytes, which roughly translates to cell eaters. Dr. Thorne's stress cracks pulsed. Cell eaters? Then there are the T cells, which coordinate the attack and directly kill music-infected cells, and B cells that produce antibodies, which are basically custom-made music weapons designed to target specific pathogens. Custom-made weapons. Dr. Velcara was taking notes now, probably for the therapy session she'd need later. Oh, and the best part, Jake continued, warming to his subject. After the infection is dealt with, some of those cells stick around as memory cells, so if the same pathogen ever shows up again, my immune system recognizes it immediately and launches an even faster, more brutal response. Silence your body, Dr. Thorne said. Slowly holds grudges at a cellular level. I mean, yeah, basically. Dr. Velcara pulled up a comparative database. With trembling hands, let me show you. What normal immunity looks like across the galactic community, a holographic appeared showing various alien cellular structures. The Zentari immune system, for example, identifies foreign cells through chemical signatures. Once identified, the immune cells attached to the pathogen. And GT music, and GT, and gently guide it to the lymphatic system where it's filtered out in expelled. No violence, no tissue damage, no self-cooking. The Krabben system is similar. Dr. Thorin music added, we have crystalline immune structures that essentially quarantine pathogens in inert mineral shells until they die of natural causes. It's peaceful music. Efficient. The Velperi use a symbiotic approach. Dr. Velkara continued, scrolling their immune cells communicate with pathogens and convince them to leave voluntarily through chemical persuasion. Your immune cells negotiate a peace treaty with bacteria. Jake asked, incredulous. It's civilized. Dr. Velkara snapped, we don't declare war on microscopic organisms. Well, Earth diseases didn't get the memo about being civilized. And GT, music. And GT, Jake shot back, we've got viruses that hijack your cells and turn them into virus factories, bacteria that produce toxins deadly enough to kill you in hours, parasites that can eat you from the inside out. Our immune system evolved to fight dirty because everything trying to kill us fights dirty. Dr. Thorin was pulling up Earth's disease database. His eye crystals stopped rotating. Oh no. What? And GT, music. And GT. Dr. Velkara looked over their pathogen list. It's extensive. How extensive? There are over 200 viruses that cause the common cold alone. Dr. Velkara's skin flashed through several colors Jake didn't have names for. 200, and that's just the common ones. Jake added helpfully, then you've music got influenza, which mutates constantly, smallpox, which killed millions before we eradicated it, plague, Ebola, malaria, tuberculosis, COVID-19. Stop. Dr. Velkara held up all four hands. Please stop. We have entire fields of medicine dedicated to infectious disease, Jake continued, because apparently he decided music, these aliens needed the full existential crisis experience. Immunology, epidemiology, virology, parasitology. Dr. Thorin was scrolling faster. According to this, humanity's entire medical history is essentially an ongoing war with microscopic organisms. Pretty much, yeah, and you win these wars sometimes. Jake shrugged. Sometimes the diseases win. We've lost a lot of people over the millennia, but we've also completely eliminated some diseases through medicine and vaccines. And GT, music. And GT, it's an arms race. Vaccines. Dr. Velkara looked up. What are vaccines? Jake grinned. Oh, you're going to love this. Both doctors looked at him with expressions that clearly said they would not, in fact, love this. So Jake began. Sometimes we deliberately expose ourselves to weakened or dead versions of pathogens to train our immune systems to fight them, music, more effectively. Dr. Thorin made a sound like a rock slide. Dr. Velkara's skin went completely white again. You inject yourself music with diseases, she whispered, on purpose. Well, safe versions of them, but yes. That's insane. That's preventative medicine. Dr. Velkara stood up abruptly. I need To contact music, the Galactic Medical Council. This is going to rewrite every xenobiology textbook in existence. Music. Can I still get that orange juice first? Jake asked. Dr. Velcara returned 10 minutes later with a whole team. There were now 6 aliens crammed into examination room 7, all staring at Jake like he was a biological horror show, which from their perspective he probably was. Explain vaccines again, demanded a spindly music creature that Jake learned was Dr. Nixel, head of xenobiology. Slowly Jake sighed. He still hadn't gotten his orange juice. Okay, so we take a pathogen, right? We either kill it, weaken it, or just use a piece of it. And GT, music. And GT, then we inject it into a healthy person. Why? Dr. Nixel said flatly. Because it triggers an immune response without causing the actual disease. The body learns to fight that specific music pathogen. Then, if you ever encounter the real dangerous version, your immune system already knows how to destroy it. Immediately, you're training your body to be better at warfare, Dr. Thorin said. Exactly. That wasn't a compliment. Dr. Nixel was typing furiously. And this works. We eliminated smallpox entirely through global vaccination. Polio is almost gone. Measles, mumps, rubella, all preventable now. Vaccines have saved hundreds of millions of lives. The aliens exchanged looks that suggested they weren't sure whether to be impressed or terrified. What about allergies? Asked a floating jellyfish-like creature whose name Jake hadn't caught. Your file mentions humans can have allergic reactions. Oh yeah, Jake said. That's when the immune system gets confused and attacks harmless stuff like pollen or peanuts. Every alien in the room went very still. Your immune system, Dr. Velcara said carefully, can't tell the difference between a threat and tree pollen. Sometimes, yeah, it's a bug in the system. A bug that can kill you. Dr. Nixel pulled up human allergy data. Anaphylactic shock. Your immune system can overreact so badly to harmless substance that it shuts down your entire body. Well, yeah, but that's pretty rare. Your body can accidentally commit suicide because it got confused by a peanut, the jellyfish creature said, bobbing in what might have been distress. And GT, music. And GT, when you put it that way, it sounds worse than it is. How is there a way to make that sound not horrifying? Dr. Velcara's skin was doing a rapid color cycle that was honestly mesmerizing. Moving on, Dr. Nixel interrupted. Let's talk about fever again. You said the body deliberately raises its temperature. What's the mechanism? Jake tried to remember his high school biology. The hypothalamus resets the body's thermostat higher. Your muscles start shivering to generate heat. Blood vessels constrict to conserve it. Whole body works together to create an environment where pathogens can't survive as well. But that same environment also damages your own cells. Dr. Thorin pointed out. Yeah, but we can take it better than the invaders can, usually. Sometimes fevers get too high and that's bad, but mostly it's a calculated risk. Calculated risk, Dr. Nixel repeated. Your body runs cost-benefit analyses on self-harm, I guess, and inflammation. Dr. Velcara asked, explain that process. And GT, music. And GT, when tissue is infected or damaged, the immune system increases blood flow to The area. More blood means more immune cells can reach the site. The area swells up, gets hot, turns red, hurts like hell. It's basically the immune system setting up a battlefield and flooding it with reinforcements. The pain is intentional. The jellyfish creature asked. Yeah, it's a signal that something's wrong. Tells you to rest and protect the area. Dr. Thorin was reading something on his data pad. It says here that humans can survive their appendix rupturing and spilling bacteria throughout their abdominal cavity. Oh yeah. Appendicitis, that's a medical emergency, but if you get surgery fast enough, you're usually fine. Your organs can explode and you survive. I mean, it's not great, but yeah. What about autoimmune diseases, Dr. Nixel asked, when the immune system actually does attack the body incorrectly? Jake winced. Yeah, those are rough. Lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis. Immune system music gets its wires crossed and starts attacking healthy tissue, so your immune system is so aggressive that music sometimes it needs to be medically suppressed to prevent it from destroying you, Dr. Vilcaris summarized. Correct. And you're telling me this is normal for your species? It's not common, but yeah. And GT, music. And GT, it happens. We have treatments for most of them now. Dr. Nixel looked up from his data pad, his angular face unreadable. I've been reading about human medical history. Do you know what the leading cause of death was for humans for most of your recorded history? Infectious disease, Dr. Nixel confirmed. Plague, cholera, typhoid, influenza, music, tuberculosis. Your species has been locked in combat with microscopic organisms for your entire existence. And we're winning, Jake pointed out. You're surviving, Dr. Thorin corrected. Music. There's a difference. We've doubled our life expectancy in the last century through medicine and sanitation, Jake said, feeling oddly defensive of humanity's brutal immune system. We've eradicated diseases that killed millions. We've developed antibiotics, antivirals, immunotherapies. Yeah, our immune system is aggressive, but it had to be. Earth doesn't do easy mode. The room fell silent. Jake could hear the hum of the medical equipment and someone's breathing apparatus. Music wheezing softly. Finally, Dr. Velkara spoke. Your planet tried to kill you, so you learned to music fight everything at a cellular level. Pretty much. That's horrifying. That's evolution, baby. Word spread fast. Apparently the discovery that humans had weaponized immune systems was the most exciting thing to hit the galactic medical station since the Yalvari accidentally invented sentient yogurt last year. Within an hour, examination room 7 had become standing room only. Scientists, doctors, music researchers, and at least one very confused janitor were all packed in, listening to Jake explain why his species was biologically insane. Let me get this straight, said Dr. Kimmer, a bird like Avrath with iridescent feathers. You're telling me that human children are constantly sick? Yeah, it's how we build immunity, Jake explained for what felt like the 100th time. Kids catch colds, flus, music, stomach bugs, all sorts of stuff. Each infection trains the immune system. By adulthood, we've fought off hundreds of pathogens. You use your children as training grounds for Biological warfare, Dr. Kimmer said. Slowly, or we call it childhood, Jake countered. Look, would you rather be exposed to diseases as a kid when your immune system is learning, or as an adult? Music when infections can be more dangerous. I would rather not be exposed to hundreds of diseases at all. Dr. Kimmer's feathers ruffled in agitation. Must be nice, Jake muttered. Dr. Nixel music was projecting a holographic timeline of human history. Look at this, the plague of Justinian. 6th century, estimated 25 million. Deaths, the Black Death 14th century. Killed 1/3 of Europe's population. 1918. Influenza pandemic, 50 million deaths. Worldwide, and we survived all of them. Jake pointed out, barely, Dr. Thorne rumbled, your population was repeatedly decimated, but never eliminated, Jake said. Some people always survived. Their immune systems adapted, they passed on those advantages, and humanity got stronger. That's natural selection. Music, that's traumatic, Dr. Velcara said. Quietly, an insectoid researcher, Jake didn't recognize, clicked their mandibles. Thoughtfully, I've been reviewing Earth's ecological data. The sheer number of pathogens on your planet is staggering. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, prions. Your world is essentially a giant petri dish. We prefer to think of it as biodiversity. Jake said. Music, you prefer to think of death as diversity. I mean, it keeps things interesting. Dr. Nixel pulled up more data. According to this, humans also have beneficial bacteria living in and on their bodies, trillions of them. Oh yeah, our microbiome. Jake nodded. Gut bacteria, skin bacteria. Music, they help with digestion and protect against harmful pathogens. The room erupted in a cacophony of alien sounds expressing various degrees of disbelief and horror. You have a standing army of bacteria, someone shouted. They're friendly bacteria that you allow to live inside you. They help us. The bacteria in our gut produce vitamins, help break down food, even affect our mood and behavior. Dr. Velcara's skin had gone through so many colors she was basically tie-dyed at this point. Your gut bacteria affect your brain. There's a whole gut-brain axis. We've got like 100 million neurons in our digestive system. Music alone, some scientists call it the second brain. Second brain, Dr. Thorne repeated, his stress cracks now resembling a road map of downtown anxiety. Wait. Jellyfish creature floated forward. You're telling me humans have a backup brain in their stomach? I mean, it's not exactly a brain, more like a complex music nervous system, but yeah, kind of. Dr. Kimmer was frantically taking notes. What else haven't you told us about human biology? Jake thought about it. Well, we can survive losing a kidney, part of our liver, our appendix, gallbladder, spleen, one lung, sections of our intestines. Stop, Dr. Velcara commanded. You can lose multiple organs and survive. The liver even grows back, Jake added helpfully. Grows back like a starfish regrowing an arm, but internal. Dr. Nixel sat down heavily on a storage container. Let me see if I understand the full picture. Humans evolved on a death world full of hostile pathogens. In response, they developed an immune system that wages active warfare at a cellular level. This system is so aggressive it sometimes attacks the host body by mistake. To supplement this, humans harbor trillions of bacteria in a symbiotic relationship, maintain a secondary neural network in their digestive system, and can survive catastrophic organ loss. When you list it all out like that, it does sound a bit much, Jake admitted, a bit much. Dr. Kimmer's feathers were standing straight up. Your species didn't conquer your planet, you survived it. Through biological stubbornness. I'd argue we did both, Jake said. Humans aren't explorers or diplomats, Dr. Thorne said slowly, coming to some realization. You're survivors who learned to thrive in conditions that would kill most other species. Is that a compliment? Jake asked. I honestly don't know, Dr. Thorne admitted. Dr. Nixel stood up, his angular frame somehow conveying both exhaustion and exhilaration. This changes everything. We need to completely revise our understanding of human biology, medicine, and risk assessment. Every human medical file needs to be updated. Every station with human crew needs to be briefed. About what? Jake asked. That we're basically fine. About the fact, Dr. Velkara said tiredly, that your species considers active internal warfare to be a normal Tuesday. 2 hours, 3 medical scans, and 1 very detailed presentation later, Jake was finally cleared to leave. Dr. Velkara signed off on his discharge papers with 2 hands while the other 2 were clearly restraining themselves from adding more warning labels to his file. You're medically sound, she said, her skin a resigned shade of pale blue. Your immune system is functioning exactly as it should for a human, which is to say, terrifyingly. So I can go? Yes, but first, Dr. Velkara pulled up a holographic form. I'm adding a permanent notation to the human medical database. All stations, all facilities, every medical professional in the galactic community needs to know. Jake watched as she typed. Warning. Human immune response involves autonomous internal warfare, fever, inflammation, elevated white blood cell counts, and apparent self-destruction. Our normal functions. Do not panic. Do not initiate emergency protocols. Confirm with human patient before assuming medical crisis. That seems fair, Jake said. Dr. Thorne handed him a data pad. Post-recovery instructions. Rest for 48 hours. Maintain hydration. Your immune system will handle music. The rest apparently through methods we're still disturbed by. Can I finally get that orange juice? It's in there. Dr. Thorne gestured to a bag by the door, along with something called chicken soup, which our database claims has mysterious healing properties that human grandmothers swear by, but medical science can't fully explain. You guys are taking this pretty well. Now, Jake observed, we've had time to process, Dr. Velkara said, and by process, I mean panic internally while maintaining professional composure. Dr. Nixel appeared in the doorway, still clutching his data music pad. Before you go, one last question. Is there anything else about human biology we should know? Any other systems that operate through controlled chaos? Jake paused, one hand on the door. He thought about how humans could hold their breath for minutes, how adrenaline could make someone lift a car, how people survived falling from airplanes, how the human body could adapt to extreme altitudes and temperatures. Now, he said, I think we covered the important stuff. Thank the stars, Dr. Nixel music breathed, although Jake added because apparently he enjoyed causing alien existential crises. There is that thing where humans can survive for weeks without food, days without water, but only minutes without oxygen. Oh, and we're persistent hunters. We used to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We're not fast, but we just keep coming like biological terminators. The color drained from Dr. Velkara's skin entirely, and our brains use about 20% of our energy despite being only 2% of our body weight. We're basically running high-performance computers in meat suits that are constantly trying to kill us, music, but also keep us alive through sheer aggressive resilience. Get out, Dr. Velkara said. Also, we can sweat music, which most species can't out. Jake grinned, grabbed his bag, and headed for the door. Behind him, he could hear Dr. Nixel asking someone to schedule a station-wide psychiatric evaluation for the medical staff. As he walked down the corridor, Jake passed Pip, his alien liaison, who looked relieved to see him. "You're okay," Pip chirped, bouncing on 4 of his 6 legs. "Told you it was just a cold." Medical staff sent out a memo, something about humans and biological warfare. Yeah, that got a little out of hand. Jake sneezed into his elbow. Turns out our immune systems are kind of terrifying to everyone else. Should I be worried? Nah, just don't catch whatever I have. Although honestly, I don't know if you even can. Your immune system probably just politely asks diseases to leave. Pip's antenna twitched in confusion, as opposed to hunting them down and destroying them without mercy. That sounds exhausting. You get used to it, Jake said, music, taking a sip of his orange juice. Plus, it means I'll be fine in a couple days. My body's already winning the war. And GT, music. And GT, the invaders never stood a chance. Behind them, back in the medical bay. And GT, music. And GT, an alarm went off. Someone yelled something about updating the xenobiology textbooks. Again, Jake smiled and kept walking. Human, surviving against all odds since day 1, and the galaxy was just starting to figure out how